about to turn it up. Turn it. We about to turn it up.
All right. Let's go, you guys. What's good, everybody? It's your girl, Tika Deshawn. Thank you all so much for tapping in to All Things Ruthless, home of the Ruthless Addicts. And your girl has brought you guys a special treat. Now, you all know I talked about this particular film on my Ruthless ratings about 2 weeks ago called Call Her King. Okay, it stars Naturi, Naughton, and it has our guy Lance Gross in it as well. With that being said, I wanted to dig a little bit deeper behind the mind of the creator of Call Her King. With that being said, I would like to present to some and introduce to others the one and only Wes Miller.
Hey, Tika.
Miller, how's it going?
Good, good. How are you doing? Thanks for having me on the show. And what a opening. That was pretty awesome.
Well, thank you so much for being here. I'm glad you approved because you're the man. You the man. That's all I'll say. Uh,
Oh,
but thank you so much for being here. I absolutely appreciate it. With that being said, I have a few slides that I want to present to you
okay.
before. Well, actually, first of all, let's introduce my audience and everyone that's tapping in, tuning in from Facebook, YouTube, as well as Twitter. Let them know who is Wes Miller.
So Wes Miller, I am originally from Memphis, Tennessee, and former athlete. Well, hold on, still an athlete, but former active athlete. Filmmaker, former lawyer. Um, That's it. Just a guy, dad, husband, and that's it. Just a regular old dude, trying to make some cool movies and entertain the audience and have fun doing it.
Absolutely. Well, we absolutely appreciate you for the content with substance that you're bringing to us. A lot of you guys don't know this man is responsible for quite a few projects. So, with that being said, was directing and writing, was that your first passion or was there something else before that?
Yeah, it's a good question. So filmmaking has always been like my very first passion. You know, even having as a kid, we would have this Fisher Price 2000 black and white camera where we would run through, make our little horror movies, make our action movies in the neighborhood. And I've always, like loved film. And then, when I was in college, I had to make some choices. And one of those choices was to either get to the video production world or go to like the legal pre-law kind of world. And I always loved the law. I loved Perry Mason and watching all those legal shows. And I actually chose video production, but by the time I chose it, all the classes were full. So I went and started taking these pre-law classes and really kind of like fell in love with the law and the theory of law. And then, just practical world just started, sent me, I had a talent for it, that went to law school and just went down that path. But even while I was on that path, even, I had my own law office. It was decorated with legal movies. We would always play like The Rainmaker, the TV show The Practice. Like film and media has always been an important part of my life. And even when I was in law school, I would watch the movie The Verdict. I would watch The Rainmaker, just for like motivation. And like, media film has that ability to do that, to inspire, to entertain. And it's just one of those mediums. So film has always been a first love. But, the responsible route took me down the legal route. And then about 2015, I was just empty inside, just like really, really empty. And so, and it was happening for a couple of years And then I just picked up a camera and then, really enjoyed it. Then I started writing. Then one of my scripts got picked up. I got brought out onto the set for that producer and director, brought me on set. It was a very small project, but I like absolutely fell in love with the process. And I knew at that moment, like, I was like, okay, um, you got to make some choices, bro. Like, you only live one time. Making films is a craft. You're learning every single time out. You just don't get it like out the box. Um, and so I couldn't devote time to that and devote time to the law. So I sold the practice and hadn't looked back since.
Right. Wow. Well, we're glad you didn't go back because you have brought to us some outstanding content. Now, I'm going to pull up one thing. I know we didn't discuss this, but I just have to talk about this project.
Okay.
Um, it was a project of yours that you did in 2018, starring Tay Diggs. And let me add it to the stream real quick, and I'll be right back.
Okay.
Not going too far. Yes. River runs red.
Mhm.
Oh my God. I, in the midst of doing my research, I'm like, oh girl, I'm just gonna dive in on Caller King and I'm gonna break this. But I messed up and watched this film. And when I tell you guys that you need to make sure you watch this, check it out. It's available right now on Amazon Prime Video. But what was the inspiration behind this particular film?
Um, you know, Up until recent, that has been like my most personal film. Um, you know, so then, for me, like searching for my voice as a filmmaker, I think it was that film. And, and having to find your voice in the midst of a marketplace. Um, I was a civil rights attorney. So, civil rights has always been like important to me. And this actually was made before the string of horrible things that were happening, with George Floyd and in Missouri and everything.
Right.
Um, and I just really wanted to tell a story about a person who is inside this legal system, who believes in this legal system, and then the legal system betrays him. And that's with Tay Diggs, and then with George Lopez's character, who is just freaking amazing. I love that guy. Um, but like, he comes from a blue collar world, and these people who seemingly shouldn't have anything in common, their kids are raised differently, but then they do, and they're treated the same by a department in the movie that devalues people of color. And for me, it was kind of like a cautionary tale of what will happen in this world if the justice system doesn't address what's happening to young black men in America. And that was it. And so, I mean, you watch it to the end. So that it's not a happy ending, which is okay in film. But that's kind of where it came from.
Wow. And listen, that's the thing about this movie because a lot of times we, as the viewer or the audience, we want a happy ending, especially with a situation like this. But as he stated, you guys, it was not a happy ending. But I can assure you that it's well worth watching, not just one time, but two, three, 20 times. Like, watch this movie. You're gonna get a message from it, and this movie, I love it because it wasn't created, in my opinion, it wasn't created to make us angry. It was more created to just bring awareness to somebody that doesn't think that this really happens in real life. So I absolutely appreciate you for giving us content such as this.
Well, I am like, it's so funny because I mentioned like it was my most personal piece up until now. I just recently finished another that I think is in the same vein as River Runs Red. But it was really difficult to make because I didn't come from Hollywood. Basically having pray my way through, kick my way through. And that film was really hard, but it opened a lot of doors and built a lot of relationships. And it was straight from the heart. And I think Tay did an amazing job. So it's awesome that you found it. You know, it's a shame that you didn't know about it before. You know, that goes to the marketing of it. You know, that's outside of my control, but it's there and it'll
Right.
always be there. And that's the thing about film. Like when I'm gone, long gone, what we leave here like has touched generations a lot longer than the footprints that we have on our days that we have here. So I'm really thanks for I'm glad you checked it out and dug it.
Absolutely. This is a piece that, because of the times that we're living in, this film is timeless. Like you can watch it 25 years from now and it's going to still be relatable. And I
Mm.
think that's, for me, that's what really struck the chord and had me boohooing like a big old baby, because also this movie not only affects the family of a life that is lost, young
Mm.
black life, brown life that's lost, it affects those who did the killing.
Yeah, and for me that was really important because there aren't we live in a world of gray. Like there are some people who are just truly bad, like there just are, and there are some people who are just truly saintly. Most of us walk in between that world, and a lot of times we have to make tough decisions that can have serious outcomes, and we make the wrong decision for the right choice or just even for the wrong choice, and that decision not only affects us but our family and friends and their family and friends, and it just creates a cycle, a never-ending cycle that is very destructive. And so it's, when you look at those type of scenarios, you want to be authentic and honest and not necessarily give answers to the audience, but just present it and let everybody draw their own conclusion.
Absolutely. Listen, I all I can say is, again, I cried like a baby, and I was like, wait a minute, I wasn't expecting it, but now that I know the tone that this particular film took, it made me understand Call Her King a little bit more, because you kind of went in that same direction. So what I'm gonna do before we talk about Call Her King, I'm gonna play a little clip, and then we'll come back and we'll
Okay.
talk about Call Her King.
All right. Sounds good.
All right.
You will stand against injustice. You will.
Courtroom are those with business before the court. Victim family representatives and law enforcement.
I cannot wait to put you and your brother on death row.
You bitch!
Okay. So first of all, can I say you turned Naturi Naughton into a real badass? I know we've seen her as Tasha on Ghost and or Power and everything,
Yeah.
but you, excuse my language, you turned her into a real badass. So tell me again, what was the inspiration behind Call Her King?
All right. So yeah. So starting on Naturi, like, she was amazing. Like, as a director, you look for collaborators in these lead roles because they are very demanding, and she did like 95% of her own stunts, being 6 weeks pregnant, and we didn't know it at the time, but she held it down. Lance and Jason, that cast was just amazing. But like just Notori, specifically, she hadn't had an opportunity to show that side of her skill set per se. Um, and for me, I needed somebody in that role that was dramatically strong, because we can have all the action all day, but if we don't care about the characters, we don't believe or care for them or have empathy for them or want to be with them, then like the action is just hollow. So it was really important to me to have somebody there. And when I met with her the first time and we talked about the character and her preparation and how she felt, and like I just felt like she's the perfect collaborator for that. And I was like, yes, we got to make this happen no matter what. And then she gets there. She's somewhat of a perfectionist, which is an amazing thing because you want somebody who can have your back as a director, and and at the same time they trust that you're not going to let them go out and look bad on screen. And she had to put that faith in me. But she killed it. Like the girl is so talented, and unfortunately, Black females don't get this opportunity in our industry. Not many Black males get this opportunity in our industry. And so as a creator, when I'm making these movies, I do think about that. I was like, let's make a role for somebody who doesn't have this opportunity. Like let's show it. And BET was so down with it, which was great. So that's it with Naturi in the movie. So essentially, what happened was after my last movie, A Day to Die, we were looking for. It was just I was looking for what's next. I have one that's kind of percolating with Kelly Rowland in talks and Joey Badass, like kind of down the road a little bit. That was kind of going to be next, but then we met with BET and just talked about the audience, what they're looking for, and they were at a place where they wanted to elevate their action movies. And so I listened, processed, and I really kind of went back and thought like they were like, all right, just picture something. So I went back and I came up with the title first, Call Her King, kind of like a throwback to like Pam Grier and Coffee and Foxy Brown. I needed a catchy name, King. That was the first part of it. So like, Call Her King, it just gave me that throwback feel to those, our movies in the 70s that kept these studios alive back in the day. And then it was like, what kind of story what do I want to tell? It has to be commercial, but it has to be something that I'm excited about. And so, I thought about like a female judge in a courtroom, keep it contained. That way we can, stretch our dollars, because, we don't have tons of money, but I wanted to feel polished and not like overextending ourselves, but having a very nice setting, the courtroom and the courthouse that makes it feel big. And then I was like, all right, now I'm here. What kind of story can we tell inside of a courtroom that matters to people? Like what matters? Like I want you to have fun. I want you to enjoy it. I want you to be entertained. That's our first and foremost, because like, we go to work every day. We grind. The world is like lifting on, pushing us down. It's just sometimes nice to escape and just like pop some popcorn and just like go. And it's such an important piece of like being whole as a person, and just whether it's video games, whether it's movies, whether it's TV, whether it's going outside and just breathing the air, we have to have that. And I just take pride in trying to bring that to our audience who doesn't get this kind of entertainment too often. So that was first and foremost. So then I thought about like, all right, you could do something cheesy. You could bring in like the Mexican cartel or something. I was like, no, this needs to be personal. And so I was like, if my brother was on death row and I'm facing an injustice, what do you do? Do you just sit back and watch the system continue to crush him? Or do you say, nope, I forget this system. I'm the system and we're going to fix this system. And so then that's kind of how it started. And I was like, all right, entertaining piece that can be personal on levels. And I've known judges who have made bad decisions. And it was a Caucasian judge in Kansas who told me one time, he was like, he retired because he sent somebody free and they wound up killing somebody. And it was so heavy on him that he retired.
Wow.
Yeah, and very nice guy. He was like one of those judges who would give defendants opportunities. He was one of the nice ones that like we could go in, you could argue probation, and he would actually listen to you. But it crushed him. And then so I took that and I was like, these judges are human. They have a huge responsibility, whether for the good or for the bad, and they have to take it serious. And the times they don't take it serious, they can screw justice up. The times that they take it overly serious, they can screw justice up. So I just thought it would be an interesting dynamic to follow this judge who may be making a wrong decision that could really end somebody's life.
Absolutely. And you say you wanted to follow this judge. Not only did you follow her in the courtroom, but you followed her at home, her personal life. And I absolutely love that because there was a scene for those who have not yet seen it, and you should be watching it by now. But for those who haven't seen it, there was a moment where Naturi and what's his Tobias Trevelyan.
Bias, yeah.
They were married, and he was out of work. He had basically his life had changed because of the pandemic. I like that you brought that in there. But then there was a moment I was yelling at her like, "Girl, how dare you talk to that good man like that? Like he's trying, but it's realistic. People do that today. You know, they're hard on their significant other because they weren't who they are. They aren't who they are now when they met them. So I absolutely enjoyed the realistic side of this film itself. Who was the hardest cast member to get? I'm just curious.
Um, so let me talk to that first piece and then I answer that one. Like,
Sure.
firstly, you're 100% right. Like, I felt like, with Jada and it, I grew up with a single mother, so I've watched this. But women carry such a heavy burden in the home. They are the cornerstone. And then, like, there are times when, like, she's not able to perform, with her sensei. Like, then she has her mind is heavy with the sentencing that's about to happen. And apparently she's holding down the finances as well. So, like, she has all of this. And then we learn that she has, the world is like looking at her sideways, like she has all these different pressures that she has to juggle. And I really wanted the audience to, like, really, like, understand generally what she has weighing on her at the start of the day. So, I'm glad you got that and understood it. And then, like, honestly, on the cast, I don't think it was hard to get anybody per se. I kind of feel like who's meant to be in the movie makes it to the movie, and they made it. Like, Lance read it, he loved it. Jason read it, he loved it. Naturi read it, she loved it. And, like, that was it. Like, it was good. It was just really about meeting everybody and making sure, we weren't gonna want to kill each other at the end of this thing.
Absolutely. I felt not to cut you off, but I felt like it was the chemistry was literally on point with everybody. Even the scene where there's an attorney that gets cracked by Lance, like everything was just literally smooth. It's almost as if, like you said, they were meant to be in their perspective roles. So I absolutely enjoyed Call Her King. Now, I have a little bit of something that I said it wasn't too personal, but I want to know you've seen your name go across the screen multiple times. But when you saw this particular moment, I'm gonna give you a quick video.
Okay.
I want to know your thoughts. So I'm
Okay.
gonna give this video and I'll be right back.
Okay.
Mommy and Daddy, can you stop fighting?
Oh, no, Mommy and Daddy aren't fighting. We're okay.
Okay, your baby girl.
Yeah.
How was it? I don't know if she's been in other projects of yours, but how was it to see your baby girl? And I hope you don't mind me talking about that, but I was like, is that his? And I'm inquisitive, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my God, it is. So anyway, how did that make you feel?
I was really proud. Like, so two things to that, right? One, I do believe, like, if we're in a position, we should be helping our family. And, like, there was no reason, if she was capable to do it, that she shouldn't have an opportunity. Um, M. Night Shyamalan's daughter is, like, directing her first movie at, like, 20. Like, we just traditionally don't have that access that we're able to pass it down to our kids. So, like, that was important. However, I'm an athlete. And so that means you got to perform. Like, look, like, so my nervousness, like, she's such a sweetheart. She's so sensitive. I was like, if she comes in and doesn't perform and I have to become, like, mean director, and not daddy, how is she going to handle it? But she took direction well. She came in, like, happy one time, came in really sad the next. And it was a really nice moment. Like, yeah, and it was really nice when she was at the premiere. Somebody asked her to sign their poster, and it was just like the little pride that was on her face, right? Kind of makes me want to, tear up over here a little bit. But it's just stuff, in our community we just don't rarely get to see that. So it's just one of those small, I can't call it a side effect, but of being in this position and being able to help her and watch her grow. I don't know if she'll be in another one, but if she wants to, we'll try it. She always has to earn it. But she did a great job, and I was just nervous. I was like, man, if she gets here and she doesn't say anything, what I'm going to do? They're going to be looking like, oh, the director just putting his daughter in and she can't even do it. So but she made Daddy proud.
She really did an amazing job with the two speaking positions that she had, and she had to go in and tell her, look, mommy, daddy, y'all need to stop arguing. You know what I mean? So she absolutely did her part. She did an amazing job for such a young actress.
Yeah.
Daddy, you probably hit the bug. She's gonna be doing this, and long down the line, you'll be like, wait a minute, now
I
it's
know,
something
right?
that's more important. And no, daddy, you started it.
I know,
And now
right?
you got to continue it.
Long as Daddy's there next to her side, one way or the other, we all right. Like
Awesome.
it's a tough industry, so I'm definitely would be right next to her, making sure everything's good.
Awesome. So I'm not going to hold you up much longer. I absolutely appreciate you being here. But if there is one thing that people can take away from Call Her King, what would that be?
I think like if we walked away with one thing, it would be, is our justice system really that broken? Is it really that slanted towards African Americans? And if it is, what can we do? What can we do in our little position? So, for instance, if you get a jury notice, don't try to get out of it. If you are part of a focus group, be honest. If you see somebody, who needs legal defense help them. Like, what can we do as a community to help keep things level? If you know judges, tell your story. Like, and let them know who we are as people. Let them know who you are. Because like when by the time you get to court and the judge already has this predisposition, his or her, it's really difficult. So I would say that A, and then B, I would just say walk away, wanting part two. Like, ask for the sequel, because we'll make it. And Jason did such an amazing job, and yeah, it would be cool to see them tangle.
Yes. I'm definitely looking forward to part two. And the comments, Call Her King has been literally trending every day, or if not every single minute. There's a different post about Call Her King. Call Her King is good. Call Her King is fired. Like, the comments are there. So I hope and pray that we do get a part two, because we can't just let him get away with that. Okay.
And I gotta say a big thank you to the audience. I mean, honestly, that's why I make the movie. Some people try to make it for reviewers or critics. Some people try to make it for other purposes. Like, I'm making it for you. I'm making it for the audience. I'm making it for us who don't get these cool action movies. I love making them. And like, we like action movies too. Like we love them. Denzel didn't do great in Equalizer, just without our community support. So like, we come, and especially if they're good. So it's so heartwarming to see people like really responding. I mean, it's just, yeah, I'm just super thankful. Like, I'm glad people got it. I'm glad they enjoyed it. I can't wait to bring them some more.
Absolutely. And we're definitely looking forward to more Wes Miller productions. He's not only a director, you guys, he writes these things as well. This is some awesome content. I would talk to you literally all day long. I promise you I would, but I am going to respect time restraints. With that being said, please tell everyone where, or is there anything you would like to talk about, like as if you have an additional project coming up that you can talk about, and also let everyone know where they can find you.
Yeah, so we just announced a new project yesterday. It's called Black Heat, with Jason Mitchell, Tabitha Dream Doll Robinson, the rapper NLE Chopper from Memphis, from my
Okay.
hometown.
Okay.
We brought back Siobhan, who played Selima. We brought back Garrett, who played Duke. Johnny Messner came back to play with us. It's a cool film. It's probably closer to the River Runs Red type of film.
Mm.
But still entertaining, still action packed, but definitely some deep, dramatic meaning in it. So that one we're finishing that. We're working on that one now. And then and then you can find me. I'm mainly on Instagram. I'm on Facebook, but not too much. But Instagram is, on Twitter just very little, but Instagram is good, and that's I am Wes Miller, and I am Wes Miller. Yeah, I'm somewhat active on that. I got to get better, but that's I do check most of my stuff there.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Mr. Wes Miller. You have a fan now. I will be definitely checking out all of your projects, and they may end up on my ratings. That's all
Uh-oh.
I'm saying. And no negative, no judgment. Just
All right.
I like good content. So you're
Okay.
absolutely killing it. And I also salute you as a writer because of what SAG and the strike and all that stuff
Mhm.
that's going on. I salute you for what you do. You don't have to be a writer. There's many other options that you can
Mm,
do, and you
yeah.
made a choice to do that, to give people opportunities. And so again, I salute you, and I send my prayers to everybody that's dealing with the strike right now.
Yeah.
Again, thank you, thank you, thank you, Mr. Miller. I appreciate you. Um, Give your little sweet one a hug. She was super
Well,
adorable. That's all I'm saying.
okay.
And shout out to you, Memphis, and the family.
Yeah.
And that's it for now. You know where you can find me on
Yeah.
Twitter.
Can I say one more thing real quick?
Sure. Oh, absolutely. I'm sorry. I will.
Let me give you your flowers. Like, I want to say thank you. Like, giving voices to content like the Ruthless, the television shows, the movies, to myself, to other actors, to other creators, being a conduit to the fans. That's huge, and it's a wonderful platform. Like I told you, when I started watching, I was like, "Oh, I'm following you." So, like, congrats, and like, keep up the amazing work. When the next one comes out, invite me on. I'll be back to talk about it. You might be mad at me
Absolutely.
about that one, but we'll talk about it.
Absolutely.
I would love to be back.
Absolutely. You're anytime, anytime, anytime. That's all I can say. You can show up. It could be an impromptu conversation. I am more than welcome to make accommodations for you. So thank
Okay.
you. Thank you. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that because sometimes not just talking about me, but sometimes you do put in work, you do put
Mhm.
in effort to support other people. And you don't really get those flowers. So I thank you so much for that. I really do.
All right. Well, you're very welcome, and thanks for
Yeah,
having me.
absolutely. With that being said, everybody say goodbye. Have a nice evening to the one and only Wes Miller.
Thanks,
And make sure
everybody.
you guys go watch Call Her King. Quit playing around. It's available on BET Plus. And check out all of his other projects, okay? Don't play with me. I know where you guys are. With that being said, thank you so much. And you have a great night, Mr.
All
Miller.
right. You too. Thank you.
All righty.
All right.
All right, you guys, that's it. That's all. I hope you all enjoyed this ruthless conversation with the one and only Wes Miller. Make sure you guys are following him everywhere. That's I am Wes, I am WES Miller on Instagram. He's also on Twitter, but like he said, he's primarily on IG, and you can find him. Okay. With that being said, I want to send a special shout out to my girl EJ. Happy birthday, EJ, the TV junkie. I didn't forget. You know your girl always preoccupied, but I got you. So happy birthday. Make sure you guys tune in tonight at 11:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to go live, talk about all the Queen's men, and celebrate my girl EJ, the TV Junkie's birthday, okay? So don't say I didn't tell y'all about the party. Make sure y'all tune in, okay? All right, y'all. That's about it. Thank you all so much for tapping in and tuning in. And you already know what I say. Stay ruthless.